We are at it again, my friend. We are at it again, my dear friends. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. My name is David Sharpe. David, okay? We're international, baby. Global. No, my name is David Sharpe, and I am thrilled to be with you all this morning. I literally just rolled out of bed about 2 minutes ago, threw on a hat, picked up a shirt from somewhere on the floor laying around here. I don't know actually even where I got it. Picked it up, kind of looked at it, looked fairly clean, smelled fairly clean. And here we are, the life of an entrepreneur, the life of a digital marketer. CEOs all around the world wish they could do this, but they can't because they're not a part of Legendary Marketer. So as I get my first cup of coffee in me, you thought I was joking. No, I'm not. I have a wonderful guest, a former teacher that is with us here this morning, who is finding her passion, finding her calling, finding a path to time freedom and getting back time with her children here through digital marketing and the skills and frameworks and business models that we teach here at Legendary. I want to remind each and every one of you, as you're tuning in live or as you're listening to the replay, each one of our guests, not a professional, not an actor, not paid to be here. In some cases, have never even gone live before. Most of them are simply students of our education who we track through our various different methods to be able to try to find success stories within our community. Shot them an email and simply said, hey, heard of Wake Up Legendary? We've done 810 episodes or so interviewing our students and clients here. Want to come on and talk with Dave? And that's how we get here. And so these are not paid actors. These are not professionals. These are all regular people, ordinary people doing extraordinary things with their lives. And the goal of this show is to provide information and value and hopefully to inspire you along your journey. With that being said, Jennifer.
Morning.
How are
you? Better wake up. Yeah. I've been up since 5.
Well, I like to wake up legendary.
Oh, that's smart. That's good.
You know what I mean? I like to wait now. This morning I slept in a little bit. Just because I wanted to, because
the best.
Yeah. Just because I can, and because I've been waking up a lot earlier lately. I don't know, something to do with the earth and the wind and the fire. No, I don't know. But maybe it's just getting older. But this is not about me. This is about you. Tell us where you're calling in from.
I'm in Alberta, Canada. So right above Montana. We're only about an hour from the border. So we're real close to the States.
Nice. And you are another Canadian that we had a Quebec. I don't even know how to Quebecoian. We had someone from Quebec. Yeah.
Yeah. Canadians on.
She threw Quebec right under the bus yesterday. Said that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. She said that they all had limiting mindsets, and she was on fire. She was on fire. But only she could speak about her hometown and her locals like that. Of course, we couldn't. That would be disrespectful.
Yes.
So we believed her and took her at her word. And it's nice to speak to another fellow Canadian. We have lots of Canadians on our team as well. Great people from Canada. And it's really nice to have you here. So you're a former teacher, huh?
Yeah, I do a ton of things. Some people think I'm crazy. So yes, I was a teacher before, but I haven't been teaching actually for 14 years. So I left teaching to start my photography company because I really wanted to be home with my kids, like really bad. And my husband is 4 years younger than me. So he was actually still in college. So I was the breadwinner. So I couldn't just stay home, right? So I'm like, okay, well, I need to find something that I can do where I can be home. Tried a few things, and then came across photography, and just something really lit up inside of me. And so I started this business, but honestly, it backfired because my business grew really quickly, which I'm thankful for. But I have a lot of memories of my kids just crawling around, my office floor. Makes me upset to think about it because I feel like I left teaching to have more time with them. But I guess my schedule was flexible where I could choose when I worked, but I was living on 5 hours sleep and editing nonstop and doing like 60 shoots a month and just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And I still do photography. So it's been 14 years now. I'm in my studio. right now.
Really
Yeah.
beautiful. Very, very nice looking studio.
Thank you.
So talk to us about how you found Legendary. I mean, what were you looking for? Were you looking for anything? Did you happen to stumble across us? And do you think you found what you were looking for?
Yeah, so I'll just backtrack a little bit if that's okay.
Sure.
So I did photography, but then I got to a point, and this was about 2019, where I was maxed out with time. I couldn't physically, it's a time for money trade job, right? Like I have to book a photo shoot to get paid, book a photo shoot to get paid. Whereas, I mean, a lot of it is editing in my office, which is great. So I can be home, but you still have to, time for money trade. So 2019, I was maxed out. We found ourselves actually in quite a bit of debt because I'm always like a hard worker. I'm like, oh, I want that. I'm just going to work harder and get it. And I'm just going to work harder to pay for this and work harder. But then there really does come a point where you actually I'm like, I can't work harder. Like I'm barely sleeping. I don't have the time to even add. And I have 3 boys. So that takes a lot of time as well. So then I started looking for well, how else can I make money? What else can I do? Came across a few things I wanted to try. And then it was actually in early 2020 that network marketing came across my path. I mean, it come across my path a lot of times before. And I was always like, no, not for me, not for me. And then this one company did. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a try. And honestly, it was awesome. I'm still with it. It's awesome. I grew that business to 6 figures very quickly within a year. And through that, I actually feel like I've grown so much learning to speak and do it. Like I would never have done this 2 or 3 years ago, like never. And now I feel like when you messaged me, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm so excited for this. So, you grow and you learn through the different things that you do. So I'm so appreciative to network marketing for that. But network marketing goes up and down, just like all businesses go up and down, right? And so one thing I did was I became kind of complacent, I would say, in 2021 when everything was good, like photography's good, network marketing good, Megan, not tons and tons of money, but quite a bit, for me. So I was like, this is great, living a good life now. I'm gonna sleep till 8 or 9, and then I shouldn't have done that though. I should have been building my other streams of income because things go down. And I know that I've been, an entrepreneur long enough that I know that. So I started a few other things. I do an online clothing boutique as well. I have 4 Etsy shops. And so I started the Etsy journey back in January. I'm like, okay, I'm going to add some Etsy shops. I had one already, but I'm like, I'm going to add some more. And then I came across a girl online talking about Amazon reviews. I'm like, okay, I'm going to try that. That's going great too. So I'm really willing to try things. And one thing I will say about myself is that I am good at seeing opportunities and jumping on them. I feel like rather than oh, I don't know if I should, and, really debating, I'm like, yeah, I'll try this, I'll try that. And I don't know, I think most people think making money, the ways to make money online are a scam, or I'm like, actually, they're almost not, maybe all of them legit, but there's legit ways. And so you just have to be able to try, see what resonates with you, right? Because not everything is for everybody, and I get that. Yeah. So then it was in May, and middle of May, came across someone talking, showing, I think, income claims or whatever, but I actually like those because I'm like, okay, I see what can be done, right? So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. What is this girl doing? Because I had done a little bit of affiliate marketing where I'm an affiliate for a yoga wear brand. And so if someone, uses my link, I get credits to the store. So I kind of understood, but I'm like, how are they making this much money doing it? So clicked on her link, took me to your video where you bought your dad the car and stuff. And we were on our way to a hockey trip in Calgary. So I watched it in the vehicle with my whole family. And I was like, oh, this is good. Okay, I'm going to put this in the back of my mind. So I have a lot of things. I'm doing a lot of things, right? So I'm like, okay, but this is interesting. So then it was a week later, I saw a different girl talking about, what she was doing. And I clicked on her link. Same, took me to you again. I was like, okay, so that's 2. And I had never heard of it.
This guy.
It was the 4th one, finally, the 4th girl. I'm like, okay, what am I waiting for? Okay. And it wasn't even the $7. I don't know. I think it was just the time. I'm like, I need to set some time aside so I can learn.
Really? Yeah.
So anyways, joined the challenge. I think that was at the end of May. And I think I finished the first 3 that you can go through before you have to have a call with your advisor. I think it was the first 3. Did those all in that morning or whatever. And I was like, I'm in. I am so in. I see so many possibilities here. And I'm someone who actually, I feel like I'm aware of all the different things I can do, but my mind was blown. It really was. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. And I didn't even know you could do this or that. So yeah, I think I bought the blueprints before I even had the call with my advisor. And I think his name is Antoine. I think that's how you say it. He was great.
Antoine.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's awesome. He's incredible. Wow, man.
Sorry.
Oh,
there you go. There you
come on, bring it on. Bring it on. Wake me up, legendary. I mean, I'm throw my damn hat, and I'm woke now. I'm there. I really can relate to your passion and your desire to want to kind of like engulf yourself in opportunity and entrepreneurship. I think I also respect what you said about network marketing. I give network marketing a lot of flack on here, kind of like the girl who gave Quebec flack yesterday because she was from Quebec. I give network marketing flack because I'm from network marketing. I'm a product of that. And that also helped me as a young, recently homeless guy who had struggled with addiction, who is recently sober, had a couple of marks on my criminal rap sheet from my addiction. I got arrested when I was 18, 19, 20 years old. So going and getting a regular job when I finally got sober at 24 was not as much of an option for me as it was for everybody else in society. And so network marketing, they didn't require all of the same vetting and all of the same application and interview process. You basically just, if you had your $500, you could start your business. And I was like, it's time to get rich. And so, I was in from my very first opportunity meeting where, a lady approached me at a telemarketing company that I worked from, that I found that job when I was still in drug treatment when I was 22 years old. And she said, "Hey, you look like a sharp guy. Do you keep your business options open?" I was like, it's about time somebody noticed. And I was in, right? I went over to her house and I was the only one at the presentation meeting. I called my mom and I said, "Hey, I need you to come pick me up and I need to borrow some money," and I was in, and so that helped me to develop my skills. And for many of you who are listening, this is your first entrepreneurial venture. This is your first thing that you're trying. And the beautiful thing about this is that not only are you getting an opportunity to communicate and develop your entrepreneurial skills, but you're also getting an opportunity to develop your on-camera skills and your online marketing skills, which is really where the future is. And so talk to us a little bit more about what some of the light bulbs that were going off for you as you were going through the challenge, that maybe were some ideas that you hadn't thought of, or some things that you hadn't seen before when you were doing more offline network marketing and offline photography and things of that nature.
Yeah, I think honestly, just the whole idea behind high ticket affiliate marketing, like I didn't really even get that. I'm like, clearly I click on links all the time. I'm in a million people's email campaigns, right? So I'm like, I should have figured that out, that, obviously they're making some sort of commissions, but the whole high ticket was a bit mind blowing to me. I was like, oh my gosh. And, I've been a photographer for so long and I have, a fairly good following on my photography page. I'm like, man, I could have been, promoting, well, first of all, I want to now create my own photography course. I could be, affiliate for other courses, or even actual products, or, presets and actions, all these things that I'm like, oh my gosh, I could have been like, but I just, sometimes if you just don't, I don't know, until your back's against a wall, and my back was against a wall because, like I said, businesses go up and down. I'm like, okay, I got to figure out some other things. And really, I should have been doing that when everything was on a high as well, but that's okay. Setting up all the streams of income now. But yeah, I would say the whole high ticket, and just seeing all that like 86% of companies, I think it is, have affiliate programs. Like, that's crazy. People don't even really understand what it is. Like, most people don't actually even know what this is.
Very true. And, I've been coming up with ideas just because the juices have been flowing this week with different guests about ideas in different niches, in different products. And so many people come into our community thinking that, getting into the online marketing or make money online niche is the only option, or, that we teach to become an affiliate of Legendary, and we don't. We actually don't even ask anybody going through our curriculum or our courses to be affiliates of Legendary. It's just an optional thing that most of the time people seek out because they had a great experience. But for example, the photography business, there are so many people who would like that life that you had and that business that you had or have with the photography business, learning those skills. I mean, we're all amateur photographers nowadays. We're all taking, and here's the line, here's the headline. Would you like to get paid for taking pictures instead of just taking them for free and posting them on social media? 3 steps to starting your own photography business. Opt in for a free video on the next page or a free PDF. And then you bring people in, and it's such an easy way to create a course coaching program event, or of course promote somebody else's course about how to start a photography business. Especially in this market right now, people are looking for all kinds of different ways to make money online, all kinds of different ways and yes, your business, the gift sort of became a curse because you became so successful, but that's actually a selling point.
Yes,
it's actually a selling point. And although you've kind of filtered it and it's become sort of almost like, again, a gift and a curse because you became so busy that, you were editing 60 hours. Do you know how many people would love that?
I know.
Do you know how many people would love to be so busy at home with their kids crawling? And I'm not saying you're not grateful for that. I'm just saying there are people that if you can just sort of tweak that perspective a little bit and turn that into, find all the greatness and the benefits of that, how many people would love, how many amateur photographers are out there who just, it's a passion of theirs, and they just don't understand how to create a business from it, how to create a high ticket package, a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 wedding package, market themselves, create content and build sales funnels online to generate leads. There's so many different opportunities, in the photography niche is one that is, is just as capable and has as many possibilities as any other. What comes up for you as I start spitballing ideas here at,
I love all of that. And the funny thing is like people had always said, get an email list going. Like I've been an entrepreneur for 14 years. And now from doing the blueprints, I finally got my, just kicking myself. Like, and I watched, and I love Jenna Kutcher. And I've watched like a million webinars because that's the blessing with my job. A lot of it is editing. So I can watch, or listen to webinars and stuff while I'm editing. And so, I mean, that's been preached to me over and over and over, and I actually even have invested in a different course, years ago. Something maybe just didn't resonate, or maybe I wasn't ready. It might not have been the course. It could have been me. Because sometimes these ideas it takes a while for you to wrap your head around them. Right. So, but the blueprints were just like, I pause the video, work on my thing, pause the video, go back. So just laid out so perfectly. And I knew I wanted to invest because I knew I wanted to go full on with this. And I knew that sometimes I get stuck at the techie stuff. And then I'll be like, okay, I want to do this. Like I know how to, I had the knowledge for the course, photography course. I know how to make things pretty in Photoshop and Canva, but it's the delivery. It's all of that, how to actually do an email campaign. Like the blueprints are amazing because they really lay it out step by step. And then if you want, you can go on for help every day. It's just honestly the value. There's so much value.
Thank you for saying that. Really appreciate that. And people are always wondering on the show, of course, many of them are brand new to our community, and they're in their first week going through the challenge, and they're in the process of making that decision as well. And one thing to point out for all of you who are Blueprint students, there is a digital courses blueprint. There is a course coaching blueprint. There is a consulting blueprint. And I have something very special lined up before the end of the year, where we are going to update and upgrade that digital courses blueprint in a way that is going to absolutely blow every one of you away. Not only are we going to do the training live, but then of course we're going to turn it into a course. So we're going to show everybody how to create a course through literally just delivering it live and then taking that, editing it, and turning it into a course. And guess what? All of our Blueprint students get that. As long as you own that blueprint, you took the 4-for-1 deal, or you have the digital products blueprint. As with all of our training upgrades, listen to this closely. Nobody else does this. We're going to just give that to all of our Blueprint students for free, that update, that upgrade. It's not going to be a 2.0 launch. It's not going to be a 3.0 launch. It's not going to be a, hey, you got to pay $500 to upgrade. So, it made me think a little bit, tying into this comment that Megan said. My sister wants to go to college for photography, and light bulbs are going off in my head for her. Well, think about what I just said. We are going to update and upgrade that course for newer, fresher 2023 curriculum, and we're going to give it to you for free. And think of all the different possibilities. You can take that knowledge into any niche. You can take it into existing projects and niches that you're already working on, and you're getting that as an ongoing update for free. And I think about how outdated and antiquated our college system is.
I don't know if college is the best.
It teaches us one skill, and we pay tens of thousands of dollars for one skill. And I'm not here to downplay or degrade or dishonor anybody's efforts that they put in. And everybody should be proud of the work that they've done and the degrees that they have. It shows who you are. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about our education system and the way that it's delivered. I cannot tell you, Jennifer, how many times people on this show say, I have a college education and I never learned about building an email list. I have a marketing degree. I never learned about a sales funnel. I never learned about affiliate marketing. And so this is the perfect opportunity for all of you to blend your ideas and enroll for what may seem like a big investment. And I don't want to downplay a couple of $1,000s to anybody, but you have something in front of you right now that is futuristic in a way, and it may seem a little bit odd or weird because you're used to going and taking, we don't even scoff at $50,000 in student loans. Well, because it feels like free money. We'll pay it off later, but that's not really the case. Anyways, what's coming up for you as I talk about the digital marketing course coming up? And do you see that in your future, and are those juices flowing for you?
Oh yeah. And I think just because I've always gone in a million different directions that I have like ideas like, oh, I could do this. And I do have experience because I've tried so many things and actually still do so many things. I do feel like I have experience that I can teach others, where imposter syndrome does come in a bit still sometimes, right? You're like, okay, I don't know but if you're just a step ahead of someone else, sometimes that's actually even better than being leaps and bounds in front of someone else, because you can relate to them more. Like if you're a little bit closer to where they're at, you can maybe relate to them more, right? For the college and university thing, so I went to university for 5 years, right, to become a teacher. And even at the time, I didn't even know if I wanted to be a teacher. I just felt like I had to go to school to do something, right? Actually, my dad passed away when I was in high school. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. And so then I watched her be like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do now to provide. So because of that, I was like, okay, well, I better get an education so that I have something. And, I am thankful. I'm thankful because, I did love the 6 years I was an elementary teacher. I love that. And you learn how to be a learner. A student, I guess is the word, right? That's good. But a lot of the 5 years, the first 2 years are just fluff years that I paid however much money for. And so sometimes looking back, I'm like, oh, that was, you hear people say, and you say it often, and I think it often, like, oh, they tricked us, like they didn't show us all the options. However, back when I was in school, I'm like 46. Back when I was in school, the internet was just coming to be a thing, right? And so really it wasn't even, you couldn't even imagine that this would be where we were at, right? Like Facebook, the thing, like hardly anything was. I remember we had, the dial-up computers or whatever. So really, maybe it wasn't a trick back then because they just didn't know another way. But now there's no excuse, and if someone wants to go to university or college, that's great, because some jobs do really require that. But do you have to be successful? And I have 3 boys, and I don't want them to not be good students, but like, I don't care that much. I want them to be hard workers and have well, they won't all have entrepreneur spirits, and that's okay. But I just want them to go after what they're passionate about. Because if I look back when I was a kid, I always loved photography, always loved it. But when I went to university, there wasn't like this girl was saying there's a college course. There wasn't when I went. And so, and then it was funny when I came back around to it, I was like, weird. I was like passionate about that before when I was a kid. If I would have just honed in to what I was passionate about, right?
Totally.
And now I feel like I do still love photography, but now I'm really passionate about teaching others that there's another way, that there's a better way. There's other ways to do things. Okay. It doesn't necessarily be my way, but there are lots of ways. So let's look at it and see what resonates, right?
Yeah. And the photography thing is just and again, when we switch from sort of doing the hobby or doing the business and being in the business and then working on the business, we start to, and then you combine it with that sort of, that showing people how to start businesses, showing people essentially how to create their own economy. I mean, that's what I heard you just say. I'm passionate about showing people how to create their own income, how to be in control of their income, how to develop the skills to be able to support themselves in 2023 from home without having to drive into a cubicle and sit there all day and take orders from a boss you hate, and work for a company that doesn't care about you. That is when you begin to start looking at the things that you are gifted and skilled at, and that you do have, for example, the photography business, and you start saying, okay, I can teach people how to start a photography business. I can teach people how to start a XYZ business. I can teach people how to start. Even for me, I have construction experience because when I got, actually even before I got clean and sober, truth is, but especially after, I worked with my dad a lot, and he taught me all the skills and all the not particularly the business skills, because he never had anybody to teach him that. He didn't go to college, nor did he have a father. His father passed when he was very young. So he didn't have anybody who taught him the business side of things, but he is one hell of a craftsman. And so I have an internal burning passion to help tradesmen and people that are blue collar workers actually have more freedom. And my time has been totally dominated by internet marketing, but I could just as easily, and I think I've helped a lot of blue collar workers through this, but I could very easily take my skills in construction to be able to communicate to those people and say, hey, I want to show you how to expand and scale your business. I want to show you how to generate leads online. I want to show you how to, scale your business more by working on your business instead of so much in your business. That was one of the things that I watched my father do, work in his business, and was never able to really create riches. And how to start a construction business, how to get your first client, how to, right? But it's even easier with skill sets like photography, because it doesn't require all of the licenses. It doesn't require all of the, the various, the tools, the trucks. I mean, you really just need a camera and you need, you know what I mean? You really just need one tool. And, most people are already somewhat passionate about photography. We all are in a way because of these things. And so I just challenge all of you to get and allow those creative juices to flow, those hobbies, those passions, those things that you have expertise. You're a former teacher, Jennifer. I mean, there's so many different ways in which you can connect with teachers and nurses, and those really, I hate to use this word but you are essential. You're the absolute best of what society has to offer. Our teachers, our nurses, our firefighters, our police officers, all of the people on the front lines of our society who are overworked, underpaid. You actually have the knowledge and the experience to be able to also reach those people. That's another example of how you take your life experience and you're able to reach people. Now, somebody listening may think, oh, I'm a retail worker. I worked in Wawa. Well, how many hospitality and retail workers are out there that are overworked and underpaid? Hey, guess what? During the pandemic, they also had to show up because, we couldn't go without our gas and our Snickers bars. So we all know that look, you have to take a look at what knowledge you have, what experience you have in life, and now how can you use it to reach people and connect with people. So let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that. What's it been like for you to get on video, and how have you connected with people, and what's worked best for you?
Okay, so the whole video thing, it's funny because through the network marketing, like I said, that's when I kind of became more comfortable doing these kind of things, interviews and stuff. But I still was like, I'm never going live. That's just not me. And I did do some reels. So I started doing some reels for the network marketing. Still felt kind of like an idiot because the most people on my page are all people that know me. I mean, the town I'm in is like 100,000, but it's still like it has a small town feel where everyone knows each other, right? So I do one of my reels and I go to the hockey rink, so my boys play hockey, and I'd be like such, or one of the dads would be like, "Oh, I saw your reel," and I'm like, I feel like such an idiot, you know. But so when I started this, I was like, I'm starting a whole new page. Like I don't want anyone, and I hear lots of people. I watch this all the time, so I hear lots of people say the same thing, or I see people comment, "Oh no, other people are seeing my new page," because that happened to me too. I started this new Instagram, and I was like, no one's gonna see me. Then all of a sudden, like week one, someone I knew joined it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how are these people finding me? And I think it just like syncs, friends somehow. But here's the thing: this is something I really wanted to say today. Okay, so I wanted to start the new page because I was embarrassed. I didn't want anyone to see. I'm not embarrassed of this, but more because I feel like I do so many things. I'm like, buy my collagen, book a photo shoot, buy my clothes for my online clothing boutique, and I felt like there's like one more thing. So I wanted to do something separate, and then I wanted to be really successful before I opened and showed it up to everyone. And that's just my ego getting in the way, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So then when these people that I know started coming, those are the people who have now also invested in this. My friends, the people that already know, like, and trust me, who already we have the same, values and wants in life. And so then I thought, shame on me for not showing the people that I already know this gift, because this is a gift. Being able to work from anywhere, being able to use your skill set, it is a gift. So for all of you that are scared to show your friends, I get it because I was too. And this is just back in May. I was like, I don't want anyone I know to see this. And now I'm like, no, I'm like, now over on my other Instagram, like, come, if this is for you, if you want to learn other ways to make money, or come on over to this page and see, because it's a gift. And there may be someone is struggling and really needs, probably a lot of people, are probably struggling and needs some more income or an extra stream. And so, and this can also just fire them up inside. Like for me, just like, fired me up. I'm like, kind of like how photography did 14 years ago when I came across it. This now, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just so excited about this. And there's just not enough, hours in the day for all the things I want to do, but that's okay. So yeah, and so now also with doing the reels, and I go live on my Instagram, and I don't have a ton of followers yet. I actually want to talk about that too. But now I'm like really comfortable. It's weird. And I was like, oh, I have to be really ready and have a filter on for every reel, and then I'm like, okay, but these other, people aren't doing that. So, I mean, overall, I do tend to get ready. Maybe I'm just too vain. I don't know. But, sometimes I have just been like, whatever. And I'm like, okay, once you do it a few times, then all of a sudden you don't care. I'm like, oh, I'm like actually dancing on my reels now, which I never would have thought. And I don't even care. I don't even think twice about post. So it is one of those things, the more you do it, and also, yeah, just don't hide it from your friends and family, because maybe it could help one of them too. So
Well, I want to read you some feedback. I agree with Jenny. I don't want to do videos either for the exact reasons, but I know it's inevitable. Thanks for your story. It will help me overcome my fears. I like her wording about using it as a gift. Great info. Thank you. I needed to hear this. I'm launching today and absolutely changed my perspective. Gift. What a great way to explain LM in one word. Thank you. Thank you. I can totally relate. I relate to her so much. I mean, just this thing about, about like being afraid of like people seeing you, and then realizing that, the people don't pay your bills, or they like, we hear that all the time on the show, like people saying, like people coming to the conclusion that they're giving people too much power and they're allowing people to rent too much space inside of their head, is just like something that so many of us do. And it's not, it doesn't make you uh, it doesn't make you weird. It doesn't make you like, it's so normal for that. The other thing that I loved that you said was just how your ego gets in the way. Whose doesn't? I
Yeah.
mean, whose doesn't? Like, all of our egos are our worst enemy,
Yeah.
like this whole thing about we got to get dressed up and look perfect to do a video. We're afraid of people seeing us because we've had so many entrepreneurial ventures before that, the truth is that we're the ones who give a damn about that, not really them. They're not thinking about us as much as we think they're thinking about
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
We're just thinking about us all the time. And that's just human nature. We are built for that. It's a survival mechanism. It's called self-preservation. We think about ourselves all day long and our family, and that's what human beings do. And there's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't mean that other people are thinking about us all day long.
That's
And
right.
so what if they are scrolling through they're sitting there probably, ignoring their kids on their phone, sitting there judging you. Who gives a damn? Right? You know what I mean? When we think about it from a 30,000 foot perspective, it really is silly. But in the moment, when we're getting ready to get ready to film that video to post, all those fears seem so real and so big, like, oh my God, what if Diane sees this video? She knows that I did network marketing 2 or 3 times before, and now I'm doing like, Diane is probably doing something that if we actually saw what she was doing, she'd be embarrassed of it. I mean, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's just our ego is there's so many different acronyms for ego, to easing God out. There's a few more. I wonder if anybody else knows any that they could drop inside of our comments here.
Yeah.
But it's you talk about gifts. Well, I mean, if you do believe, it doesn't matter what you believe in, but if you believe in a higher power, and you believe that God has given you a gift, and maybe you haven't discovered exactly what your gift is or how to use your gift, or you have a gift but you're scared to use it. It really is ego easing God out, because every time that we say, oh, I'm not going to do that because I'm embarrassed, because it's literally, it's self-will run riot. You know what I mean? It's like we were given this gift to either communicate, to have found, to be resourceful and find different ways to make money or whatever. And we are literally not pursuing that, or not going out there and helping people because we're afraid of what they're going to say or think. That is like the epitome. If you are a religious or spiritual person, that is the definition of letting the enemy win. I mean, that is the definition. What comes up for you as I say that?
Well, actually, my friend said that to me. So she had said to me, Jen, like, and I am a really strong Christian. My dad was a preacher, actually. So my friend said to me, by you not doing the things that you have a fire in your heart to do, you are not basically obeying God. God gave you these gifts, and not necessarily just for me, but to help show others, right? That sounds like, oh, me, you know what I mean? But do you know what I mean? Like, if I don't share things that I'm passionate about and I'm fired up about, I have that in me for a reason. So
totally.
Yeah. And so other people, it's maybe to show other people that there's another way, that there's different things that they can do. Right. And also, if you, and I was there too, where I didn't do things and I didn't get out of my comfort zone. It's a process, you guys. For those of you who are like, oh, I feel that way. You're not going to get over it overnight. It's a process. It's a daily thing. You need to work on your mindset. If you're, religious, pray about it. And it does take time to get to a point. And I'm still not 100% where I don't care, but I care way less than I did, 4 months ago when I wasn't doing any of the reels and stuff. Right. But if you never reach your potential or reach, your goals in life because of what a couple of people said about you or are going to say about you, that's so sad, right? If you let these couple, and I have certain people in my mind too, right? That I'm like, oh, this person's probably laughing at me when I do this. But then I'm like, what if I didn't go after what I want because of that they're going to laugh at me? Who cares? Who cares if they're going to laugh at me, right? So, but it's a real thing. So if you feel that way, it's a real thing. I feel like a lot of people, feel that way, and it's a process, and you're going to have to work through it. And I do think that if you want, the future is going all online, digital and everything, and yes, there's ways to do it without showing your face, but I feel like if you really want to grow that connection with your community and have people have that trust factor with you, then you should. And also, you probably have so many gifts, and someone's really going to maybe resonate with you, your personality, because everyone's different. I'm not for everybody, right? Everyone's not for everybody. So, but you showing your personality, maybe there's going to be a few people that really resonate, that you resonate with, and that you can really touch and help. So,
yeah, I love all that, and you're absolutely right. I relate to that so much, and I believe everybody here does. The comments are blowing up with lots of identification. One of the things that had a brain fart here. It was just on the damn tip of my tongue. It was getting ready to come out, for God's
have them
sakes.
all the time.
So talk to us a little bit about what you have learned about yourself through this process. I mean, you obviously have so much experience with doing lots of different things. I mean, you obviously know yourself and have done a lot of things to get to know yourself over the years. But what have you learned that's new about Jennifer through this process over the last few months that you either didn't know about yourself, you didn't know you were capable of, or you had forgotten about?
Okay, so I'm going to get really real here. Okay, so because most things I've done in my life, I've had fairly quick success. So grew my photography company to 6 figures really quickly. My network marketing, like within a year. Most things I do, and I have had success with this for sure. But when you start something like this or anything, you have these. Well, I don't know if everyone does, but I had these, I guess, goals that I thought I was going to hit, and I gave myself a timeline. And I based those goals on all the people that I watched. So all the people that I was inspired by, I scrolled back to see when was their first post. What were they posting? What were they doing? How long did it take them to grow this following? And I literally thought, okay, 2 months, I'm going to have like 100,000 followers. I have like 500 and some. I'm like, what is the deal here? There's a girl that you had on the show, and I love following her, but she started literally 2 days before me, you guys, and she has 90,000 followers. So I'm like, is it? And then you start getting in your head. And I'm someone who's been an entrepreneur for 14 years. I know there's ups and downs. I know all the mindset stuff. And you guys, I cried like 4 days last week because I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why isn't this happening for me? Why don't I have a reel go viral? Like, it happens to everyone. And I'm saying it's good to have those goals, and it's good to look at those people because you can see what can be done, right? And I know it can be done, and I know I'm on this path for a reason. And I don't want to brush off that I'm not successful enough, because I've had success already, and I'm thankful for that. But it's just because I put these certain standards on myself, and because I've had such quick success, like skyrocketing success with other things, that's what I expected of myself here. And then I kind of think this maybe is a bit of a learning journey for me, and maybe where I will be able to relate more with people who don't, because most people actually don't. I remember like so many of these I watched, you're like, just so you know, this is not typical. This is like, and I was like, yeah, that's gonna happen to me. Like, that was it, literally in my mind. And it's good to have like good positive, but maybe it was a little bit too much, because I was like, okay, yeah, no, I'm totally gonna hit those goals like within 3 months. Like, literally thought that. And so then when it doesn't happen, I realized, okay, first of all, I just put those timelines on myself. You should never put a timeline. It should be, I'm going to do this until I'm successful, not I'm going to do this for 3 months, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to quit. Don't be like that. Do it until, right? You're going to learn, you're going to grow. There's all this other stuff that comes from it. It's not just about the money, right? But yeah, it's just know that when, if you do have a slower growth or slower than what you wanted for yourself, I mean, realistically, it's only been 4 months, but it's okay, but you need to work on your mindset. You really do. Mindset is like, and every day you need to work on it. Like, I pray every day about it, and I listen to some mindset stuff. I think this show right here is so good. I listen to it sometimes, the podcast version, and sometimes I watch it when I can, whichever is easier that day. But it really helps, because everyone's journey is different, and I shouldn't have based my journey on the few people that, of course, everybody wants it to work out exactly like it did for those handful of people. And also, if then seeing those people's posts, it's funny because the same people that really inspired me to start I've had to unfollow, and not against them. It's a me thing. Like I don't, hopefully there'll be a time where I can follow them again. But I was like, okay, when I'm seeing them now, it's making me feel like panicky inside, or like, okay, well, I don't understand. Like, why isn't this happening for me? And oh my gosh, like, so I was like, okay, I need to just
Totally.
unfollow, and there'll come a time where I can follow them again. And, but don't, just only let the positive stuff in, because you're going to need it, because
Yeah.
entrepreneurship is not easy. It is not. Like, there's nothing, it's the best thing in the whole world, but it is not easy. And so you have to be ready. And I know there's ups and downs. This is like someone knowing that, oh, and I tell the girls that, like, in my network marketing, just so you know, it's a roller coaster. The ups or down. When you're up, you're like on top of the world, like I'm gonna be a millionaire. And then when you're down, you're like, oh. And so I know this, and I preach it. But it's funny, I hadn't actually felt that inside until recently. And so actually feeling it myself, I'm like, okay, this is probably a good lesson for me to learn, so I can actually like understand. Because sometimes you're like, no, work harder. Like if you just work, it happens. No, not always. Not always. The timeline is still like, your time could be longer, right? So, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
You got 1,000 hat throws for that. It was like a video game going off.
That's what I wanted to say today, because that was my journey last week. And here's the other thing. I knew I was coming on the show, and I was like, oh, I need a reel to go viral. I need like way more followers before I get on there. These are the things that go through like my mind. And
Totally.
what does that matter? Like, no, maybe I specifically wasn't supposed to have that, so that I can tell people it's okay. Like, you just keep working on the journey, keep learning, keep practicing, if it's, fire in your heart, keep doing it.
Yeah. And Sarah says, I needed to hear this today. Becky, thank you for the reminder. Heather, yes, watching others I follow are so amazing, but definitely getting me panicky. Jamie says, love the share. So real and so helpful. Love the honesty. There's so many I lost. Thank you for being real. Gives me the motivation to keep going. It's so many things to learn. Everybody's timeline is different. Thanks for that. It's just, it's so easy to compare. I'm glad you kept pushing yourself. Love this perspective. Thank you for that realization and encouragement. Thanks for sharing that excellent advice. I mean, there's just so much relation and power and therapeutic value in being honest, and just being honest with yourself, because that is great self-care. It's how we protect our mindset. It's how we protect our spirit, our mindset. We know when we're not being honest. We know when we're putting unrealistic pressure on ourselves, when we're in comparisonitis, which, by the way, it's not a real word. It's just, it's kind of like Scorpio, it's like a disease. It eats away at us. You know what I mean? It's kind of like resentment. Resentment is like eating poison, expecting somebody else to die. And comparisonitis is it's like eating poison, expecting to get healthy. It's like eating poison, expecting to be successful. And it's not, it doesn't work like that. So I love that you unfollowed people who you once followed and inspired you, because you felt yourself getting into that comparisonitis. That's such a healthy thing to do. It's such a great self-care action. We need to be in competition with ourselves, with the previous version of ourselves from yesterday, from last week, from last month. We need to start looking and tracking our success month to month, and not day to day, friends, because as you said, day to day is, one day you're on top of the world, the next day the world's on top of you. But if you track your success from month to month, look, there's only 12 months inside of a year. So you have, you really just keep your head down. You go hard for 31 days, and then you sort of come up at the end of the month and you review your statistics, how many leads, and write in the blueprints, my friends, and also write in the challenge if you pay close attention. I show you, I think, right on day one, how I tracked a massive marketing campaign. Remember the talk from stage where I put that up and went through all of but in the blueprints, we dive deeper in the tracking section in the affiliate marketing business blueprint. There's a few simple numbers that we all need to be paying attention to. And that's hits. It's how many leads did we generate into our email list and our sales funnel. It's how many many sales did we get? How much total revenue did we do? And that allows us to be able to look from month to month and say, hey, did my lead flow go up? Did my front end sales go up? Did my back end sales go up? Where did my and it doesn't matter what you're promoting, these metrics still apply. And then we become more data driven. The other thing I think is really powerful is, instead of what I learned in recovery, is that our feelings are not facts.
Right. Take the emotions out.
Our feelings are not facts. And the clever way all the old timers used to say is, your feelings are not facts, though it's fact you feel, but it's true, So when we start paying more attention to the data, you can have a video go viral and gain 10 or 20,000 followers and it not do anything for you except give you vanity metrics and make you feel like you're doing better because you have more followers. What matters is tracking the important data in your business, which is how many hits are you driving to your follower count is important, and you can track that. But how many hits are you driving to your landing page? How many people are opting in? Why is that important? Because if you're only getting a 5 or a 10% opt-in rate, then you need to tweak something on your landing page. Yeah. And you can, the next month, you can tweak something on your landing page, improve the copy, simplify the page, and maybe you upgrade that to 30% opt-in rate. Well, that's going to surely impact your sales because more people are going to be clicking on your affiliate link on that bridge page and seeing your offer. And so when we start to become in competition with ourselves based on data, and this is a big thing that I really had to swallow this pill early on in the launch of this company, because this company was not always as successful as it is. For the first several years, we kind of flopped around and sort of found our groove, or we're trying to find our groove. And we were making emotional decisions based, changing things up. That's the biggest thing that emotional decisions will have you doing, is making changes in your business that are not the actual problem. Right? For example, quitting or stopping when you're actually really making progress. And so we started to track very specific key metrics, many of which I'm sharing with you right now, and I share right in our training, and really basing our decisions based on that data. And now our whole team, particularly leadership within this team, we discuss things, we discuss people, we discuss situations, but we always go to the data. Because the data doesn't lie. We lie to ourselves, but the data doesn't lie to us. And so we can somewhat take the emotion out of the panicky emotion out of our business and just use all of that, because I view my emotions as sort of like a gas tank. Oh no.
Oh, are you there?
I sort of view my emotions sort of like a gas tank, and I have a full tank at the beginning of every day. And I can either take that big, full gas tank of emotion and I can use it as positive passion. I can use it as personality and performance and content. I can use it as a way to inspire people and feel energized to take action. Or that emotion can be used in analysis paralysis, anxiety, right? Beating myself up, comparing myself to others. I am actually wasting valuable emotional fuel when I am doing that versus saving it, blocking out even successful people who make me feel like I need to compare myself to them, and focusing on being in competition with the previous month's version of myself and my business, and using every single drop of my emotional fuel in that day for positive purposes. Thank you so much for sharing so vulnerably and honestly, Jennifer. And it really makes a big difference. So let's bring this conversation in for a landing and tell the audience, if you could go back to when you started, and give yourself advice, knowing all of the wonderful wisdom that you have now. And by the way, when did you sort of start this journey? Just so we have an accurate timeline.
When May 27th is when I started this Instagram page. So it must have been right around, I think I started the Instagram page before, a couple days before I bought the blueprint. So end of May.
Okay. So what advice would you give yourself, even if you went back previous to that? I mean, just the journey of finding Legendary, the journey of getting started marketing. What advice would, if you could sit down and put your arm around your shoulder, kind of like with that real talk that you just gave all of us, what would you say to yourself?
I think just kind of what I've already said, the don't compare, don't give yourself a timeline. Well, first of all, to start, because, everyone does take a little bit of time, and even myself, mine was just more because I wanted to have the time to set aside to do it. But still, I bet you it was 3 or 4 weeks that I wasted clicking on your link 4 different times, right? So just do it, especially the challenge, $7. But then to get your mindset ready and to know that it's a journey. And I mean, you're going to have to put work in, but it's not hard work. But it is work, right? Some people, I think, don't realize they have to put the work in, and it's not even all work like reels and all that. It's mindset work, right? Get your mind ready in a good spot. And also I kind of compare it to a garden, actually. Like, I was thinking about this because we did a garden this year, and I have not been a gardener before. So it's been a learning curve. So, I saw some cool garden on Pinterest. I'm like, oh, I want to do that. So we built these like raised beds, and we were so excited. And all that's like work I would normally hate doing, like building a garden bed. But I was so excited, right? So it's kind of like the beginning of a business. You're so excited. You've seen what, the end can be. So I saw this picture on Pinterest. I'm like, okay, that's what I want. So, we put the money in because you need to invest. We put the time in, we built the gardens, we bought the seeds, we planned it out. So excited, like just every day wanted to work on it. And then you plant the seeds, and then you wait. And then you have to water every day without seeing any results. So you don't see that they don't grow for a long time. I'm like, every day I'm out there like looking in the soil, like, when is it going to sprout? Like, when's stuff going to happen? But then what's cool, this is what I think is going to happen with this business. And, I think with anyone's business, this can happen. So then all of a sudden it starts growing. So maybe you start to get down. So I'm like, oh, my mom and I were even like, did we plant seeds? Maybe the seeds weren't good. Like, right. Maybe we didn't buy good seeds, like nothing's growing. And then all of a sudden it starts, you get a little bit more encouragement and you're excited again. And then what happens, it starts growing so fast that you almost can't even keep up with it, right? Because you put in all of that time to nurture it and water it. And, same with your business, right? Putting the time in every day, working on it a little bit, just putting your head down. Don't compare, work on what you need to do to take a step forward every day. And then at the end, the result's going to be so worth it. So
That there is no substitute for the power of a perfect analogy. There is none.
yeah.
And that was not only a wonderful story and a beautiful, beautiful explanation of what this journey is like, and relating it to something that was so personal to you, tying it into a story. It was a beautiful story. And it was a great marketing lesson for all of us to hear you tell that story, because that was exactly what great content is. What you just did. All of you who are wondering, what is great content? What is value? What you just did was one of the best pieces of value, was one of the best pieces of content that I've heard in a very long time.
Maybe make a reel on it. Maybe we should do a reel about the garden.
You should. Oh, please do. And
Maybe.
Share that beautiful story and that beautiful analogy with the world. I mean, that just, for those of you who had the pleasure and the honor of hearing Jennifer just tell that beautiful personal story, and remember what I always say, never make a point without telling a story. Never tell a story without making a point. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you sit there and you tell a story and then people are like, okay, where's the punchline? That's what I mean by like the point was so clear and powerful and wonderful, in that that's exactly what building a business is like. All of the doubt, and you even so eloquently pointed out the investment of time, the investment of money, the work, and then like watching paint dry sometimes. It's like, God, did we get bad seeds? I mean, the second guessing, you're ready to dig it up,
Yeah.
you're ready to kind of like dig them out of there and mess up what you've created, right? And we do the same thing with our businesses. We go and we tear them apart. They're working fine. Let me go back and check my funnel one more time, and then when we go back in there, sometimes we break things that weren't broke. We just, what we needed to do at this point, now that we've set our funnel up and gotten our business ready, now we need to do the maintenance activities that help that business grow, the growth and maintenance activities. And with a garden, that's, well, watering, probably doing some fertilization, weeding, right? All the things that, same thing with a business. Now, what do I need to do? Well, I need to not dig the seeds up, pull them out, but I need to create marketing content. I need to come up. I need to open up my creative juices to flow, to come up with these beautiful stories that I can share with people. I need to look at my journey and figure out ways to talk about my journey so people can understand what the journey is going to look like. In the story, the analogy that you just did was a wonderful, beautiful, wonderful example of that. So thank you for ending our show and ending our week with that wonderful, wonderful story. And I wish you all the best in what you are doing. You don't need luck because you have skill, you have determination. All of the doubt that you've shared with us today, I hope that you will get all of that out and let us take that for you, or let whoever else take that for you, so it's all out of there. You get it all out of your system, so you can really let your light shine and let your beautiful skills and energy just guide you, because your time is coming. It's here already. It's happening right in front of you right now. It's just, don't miss it, right? Don't miss it, because it's happening right now, and you're letting us see it. You're sharing it with us, and it looks really, really good on you, and it's really, really refreshing. And so keep doing your thing. Please keep me posted on your journey. Come back on the show. Keep us updated. We'd love to have you back. Stay legendary, my friend. We'll talk to you soon, Jennifer.
Thank you.
See you. All right, my friends, you can follow Jenny Joe Affiliate. That's her Instagram handle. Follow Jennifer over at Jenny Joe Affiliate. And it's spelled JENNYJO Affiliate. Okay, so it's spelled somewhat like it sounds. Jenny Joe Affiliate over on Instagram. Wow, I hope she takes a moment to read through some of these wonderful comments. Really, just powerful stuff, wonderful vulnerability, wonderful honesty, wonderful knowledge and experience. Absolutely great show, much needed. Thank you. That was powerful, Jenny. The garden analogy is perfect. That was powerful. Thank you. Got an idea, make a reel on it. Thank you. Golden nugget, fabulous way to start the weekend. Thank you for these wonderful, kind feedback. This validation that you give us and our guest on the show is so needed and so appreciated. And we love the support and the feedback. And that is really, love that. Vicky's a gardener. What a word. Thank you for all of these wonderful, wonderful comments and feedback. It really makes our day, makes this show much easier to do for all of you, and probably makes our guest feel so much more rewarded and validated for coming on and taking their time. As you heard, Jennifer is very busy. So, and this can be very scary sometimes, or nerve-wracking, maybe not for Jennifer, but for others. And it's so nice to be able to get this wonderful, positive support and feedback. So thank you. Thank you so much. And this is exactly how we can support each other out there when we see each other on the internet, right? If you go and follow Jennifer, then please continue to give her validation. And I would even encourage all of you to be a beacon of speaking nothing but positive validation and encouragement into other people. And to even take that a step further, to not allow or to begin to cut out anyone in your life who does not speak powerful encouragement, support, and validation into your soul. If they are shaming, if they are doubting, if they are questioning, if they are projecting their fears, their failures onto you, you don't have to stop loving them, but you don't have to allow them into your personal space. This is a great example of sharing powerful encouragement and validation to and from each other, and also receiving that, right? I like to remind people that many of us do not know how to receive this kind of validation and encouragement. We're always, brushing things off when people give us compliments and encouragement and validation. We say, oh, it's nothing. Oh, don't mention it. Don't worry about it. It's very difficult for us to take a compliment. It's very difficult for us to take encouragement and validation. Why is that? Well, because in typical society, people are not validating and encouraging. They are projecting their fears. They are shaming. They are guilting. And so this is a great practice ground for us to begin to open up our heart to say, hey, look, wow, that was hard. I'm doing hard things. I'm proud of myself. And then share that in a safe place, right? Not that this is a safe place free from truth and honesty, but a place where other people are going to validate us for our courage and for our honesty. And we realize how good that feels, right? And so now we want more of it. So not only do we pursue our business, be inspired, but I also hope that you're inspired to begin to surround yourself with people who are going to give you that validation and encouragement. And I hope that you also ask for it. I hope that some of you who complain about your negative, unsupportive spouses, that you learn to speak up for what your needs are, and to show people how to love and support you, to say, this is how you can love and support me. When you see me working on my business, I need to hear words of affirmation. I need to hear words of validation. I need to hear positive encouragement. And if you can't give me that, I love you. I know you love me. Don't say nothing to me at all. This is called boundaries. This is called creating and designing our life and training people how to treat us. Some of us need to retrain the people in our lives on how to talk to us, on how to treat us. As well, we train them how to talk to us and treat us by the way that we talk about ourselves. So my other challenge for you going into the weekend is stop talking down on yourself. Stop shaming yourself. Stop guilting yourself. Start speaking only power and positive validation of yourself, right? Really speak of yourself, not in an arrogant way, but in a confident, loving way, right? Like you love yourself as much as you love your kids. And I know that's, I love my kids way more. No, I want you to speak of yourself the same way with the same never speak an ill word of yourself. That also trains people around you to start to speak positive encouragement. This is another way in which we fill up our emotional fuel tank to be able to go out there and then pass this positive encouragement off to the world. And this comes out in our content. People do sense how we talk to ourselves and how we allow other people to talk to us through our content. Yes, it shows. I had an old buddy say, if it doesn't come out in the wash, it comes out in the rinse. Everything shows and comes out. So my friends, once again, thank you so much for the wonderful, positive encouragement. Hopefully it feels good for you to give it to us. It certainly feels good to receive it. And I want to give it back to all of you as well. So you can do this. You are capable. You do not need me or anybody else to complete you. You do not need a guru. You do not need mentors upon mentors and people that are going to come into your life and you're going to touch the thread on their robes and the skies are going to part and all of a sudden you're going to have the power. You already have the power within you. It's already in you. We just might hopefully make a crack so you can open it up and discover it, go in there, reach, and find something that you did not know that you had, a capability that you did not know that you had. That's why that question about what are you learning about yourself along this journey is so powerful and so important. With that said, my friends, have a wonderful Friday, a beautiful weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday for another episode. Get out of here. Stay legendary. Peace.